Welcome back to the AL.com film room. I'm Matt Scalisi here with Cole Cubelic, our Auburn football analyst. We're taking a look at Auburn's upcoming opponent, Kansas State. And Cole, it's kind of an interesting situation here for Auburn. They took last Saturday off, have this extra week to prepare going into this sort of midweek game. You know, what's Auburn's focus going to be like going into this game with sort of an odd schedule to work with?
Well, Matt, I think your focus first and foremost is on your opponent. This is a dangerous opponent. I think there are some factors that will benefit Auburn going into this game. When you think back preseason, there was a lot of people that pointed to this game and said, that's a trap game. That's one that this team could get in trouble. A Thursday night game, Manhattan, Kansas, a team, a stadium, fans that you're not familiar with. You don't get year in and year out. So it's the unfamiliarity that this team is going to face. And then on a Thursday night, it's a little bit different. The advantages, however, are having the week off before this game. So really and truly, you just start your game week preparations 2 days earlier. Whereas normally maybe the day after a game on Sunday, you start game week preparations. Maybe now on Friday, you start game week preparations. Take a little bit less time off over the weekend because you know you have to get right back into a game week. You're going to have an extended period of time off after this game as well. So you can take the days off after this game and then get back into a normal routine as opposed to having a weekend off and then starting a short game week. So it really is nice the way the schedule works out for Gus Malzahn. Let's
talk about Kansas State a little bit. Kind of an interesting matchup for Auburn. You know, and a lot has been said by Gus Malzahn and everybody else this week about Jake Waters, the quarterback for Kansas State, really dangerous weapon. You know, what is it that Kansas State overall, I guess, does that makes them effective against many of their opponents?
Well, when you think Bill Snyder, you think a well-coached football team. And at the end of the day, that's what you're going to get. This team has 2 less turnovers taken away on the season. However, they're still +1 just like Auburn is. Kansas State's gotten 2, Auburn's gotten 4. They're not going to give you the football back. And Waters had some issues with interceptions a year ago. He's cut those down early in this season. They're not going to put the ball on the ground. They're not going to be heavy penalized. They only have 1 more penalty than Auburn does on the season. I believe it's 13-12. The only difference really statistically going into this game are the rushing yards. And Auburn averages about 100 yards more rushing a game. You're going to get a physical football team that's well coached, that plays fundamental football and does not do the stupid things to get them beat. You're going to get discipline with Kansas State, bottom line.
Let's take a look at some of Kansas State's plays from their bowl game against Michigan earlier this year. Maybe see what they do well, what could potentially pose some problems for the Auburn defense. All right, so taking a look at Jake Waters here and some of the things he was able to do in this game, Gus Malzahn talks about this guy being a true dual threat. He's got that running ability, but he can also be pretty efficient and powerful with his arm as well.
Well, a couple things that we're going to see here on the tape, Matt. First thing that sticks out to me, look at that confidence in the pocket. Young man just really goes back into his drop, understands where he wants to deliver the football, and then the velocity on this ball as well. You see him locate the passing lane, almost drops his arm delivery a little bit to make sure that ball doesn't get batted down, and just delivers a strike, really and truly. Fits it right in between the safety and the linebacker. So a nice understanding of where coverage is, nice ball velocity, and really great pocket presence. This is a kid that has a lot of confidence when he drops back if he's going to throw, or like we'll see in a few minutes, if he's going to run. All right, Matt, next thing we're going to look at here from Kansas State quarterback Jake Waters. Again, confidence in the pocket and an understanding of where he wants to go with the football. Just a true understanding of the defense that he's given, and kind of understanding what worked previously and how he's going to use that against this Michigan defense. We just saw that quick slant route. Obviously worked. He knows he can take yardage from that defense with that route. But you'll see here, it's actually single safety, but obviously nobody close. But with one single safety, he knows he's going to have the opportunity to go deep on the outside because this one guy back here cannot cover the entire ground. Watch the fake. Remember the slant that we saw earlier. So he's going to bait that defense in with the slant play. Great fake with the shoulder, shows the football, and then with that single safety, just doesn't have the opportunity to come over and make a play. Nice route by Lockett, their playmaker receiver. Here, watch that ball fake again. You can see the safety just unable to come over and make a play. He had to cover the entire field, man coverage. You knew the slant route worked earlier, so you knew you'd have the DB bite on that. Go ahead and fake it, put it up top to your playmaker. Nice throw, nice catch. All right, Matt, one thing that's going to make Jake Waters dangerous is the ability to do more than one thing on one play. Of course, Auburn fans familiar with this, with Nick Marshall, Jeremy Johnson, capabilities to run and pass. Quarterback with options to do different things, put the defense in a bind. A couple things we want to take a look at on this play. More than likely, what you're seeing from the Michigan linebacker here is a trigger blitz. If he thinks this fullback is staying in for pass protection, he's going to go ahead and come on a blitz to try and add some extra pressure. I think this is probably a designed run play, maybe set up to be a run-pass option early. Offensive line needs to stay in for about an extra second and a half, but as you'll see from the left guard position right here, he's going to go ahead and come out. So he's maybe downfield a little bit too quickly, but an excellent read from Jake Waters here as he watches this fullback with that linebacker trigger blitz going to sneak right behind the linebacker and then just at the last second go ahead and dump this ball off. A little delayed draw, it's not there, boom. Got my fullback Gronkowski right over the gut, and just an excellent job of being able to show the run from the quarterback and then the wherewithal to pull it back and dump it right to the fullback. You see what a big gain it is. Here you see setting up the draw, offensive lineman 66 is downfield, but Gronkowski on that trigger blitz is able to sneak right over top the linebacker, and that's just a big play waiting to happen. Again, confidence in the pocket, understanding where you want to go with the football, and the ability to not make bad mistakes is what you're going to get from Jake Waters.
All right, well, let's take a look at Jake Waters as the running threat now. Obviously, a guy who has done this to a lot of folks in the Big 12. Auburn's going to be, paying special attention to him. They deal with a lot of running quarterbacks, but let's take a look at maybe what Jake Waters does that's special about him.
Well, one thing makes him dangerous is, of course, the ability to run. We saw a play earlier that maybe was a designed run with the option to throw. Well, obviously, every pass play is going to have the option to run if the pocket breaks down. Rush lane integrity is going to be huge for the Auburn Tigers defense. When you think about those defensive tackles filling up those A gaps or B gaps, wherever they are. And then, of course, defensive ends keeping contained. You don't want to allow Jake Waters to slip outside and pick up big yardage. Right here, we're going to see a twist at the bottom of your screen right here, inside and then coming around. But the delayed blitz from the linebacker is who's going to have contained. That's a pretty nice job by the offensive line picking this up. But what impresses me more than anything, Matt, is just Waters' ability to stand in the pocket, confidence, never panics, and then when he does decide to run, it's a deliberate north and south. Tuck the football, go get yards. We'll see how he manages this pocket. Goes through his progressions. You see the twist at the bottom. There comes the delayed blitz, and just tuck the football and go north and south. It's a really nice job, and we'll get a better shot here from the end zone of how this is going to develop when we look at the replay. Again, twist is going to come here, delay blitz to the outside. That's where your contained should be. So this blitzing linebacker should force everything to stay back inside and collapse that pocket to the middle where these other guys can clean it up and prevent this big play. Obviously, that doesn't happen, and you credit the offensive line for picking this twist up and this delayed blitz up, and that's going to allow Waters for a big gain. There you see the early twist. Here comes the delay. Just get a little bit on that linebacker. That's enough to allow Waters to escape the pocket, get north and south. Again, deliberate. Tuck the football and go. No dancing in the pocket, no indecisiveness. Just get north and south and gain yardage for your football team. Matt, when you have a quarterback who can run, we just mentioned rush lane integrity and keeping contained is huge, especially the contain with someone like Waters who's patient in the pocket and will wait to see where the pocket breaks down and then leave. Again, we talk about keeping contained your rush lanes, but contain on the outside is critical. A four-man front walking up this linebacker here is going to blitz, but you're going to see him tail off inside. So that automatically loses contain. You can see by the offensive line here, this is just a play-action fake. Offensive line not getting downfield. There you lose contain. That allows Waters to slip out of the pocket. Still has the option to throw, but again, the decisiveness to tuck the football, know where the first down yardage is, and go get it. Okay, so one thing, Matt, when we talk about mobile quarterbacks that you hear from any D coordinator, whether it's Bill Oliver or Nick Saban or Bob Stoops, whoever, you hear them talk about these mobile quarterbacks, they are the unaccounted for player on offense. So when they can run and you can get a body on a body, you don't have someone really designated for that guy, and that's where things can become problematic. Auburn's defense, again, rush lane integrity going to be big, but also someone coming up to make a play. And this is where play action can hurt you later. If these safeties are creeping down a little bit too early or linebackers are close to the line of scrimmage, right here what we're going to see basically is just a design draw with the quarterback, Jake Waters. What it allows you to do, instead of that zone read play that we see Auburn run, you don't even need to waste that guy on the fake. You allow your running back to go ahead and get north and south, get to the second level, get a little bit on the linebacker. Next thing you know, your quarterback's free in space. We'll take a look here. Kansas State does a nice job blocking this play. Look at the patience again by Waters. Just allows that play to develop a little bit. And you'll see here on the replay from the back end, running back's just going to sneak right through. There's the patience. Initially looks outside. Pretty good contain. It's not there. So he flows right back inside. It's just an excellent job of Jake Waters having an understanding of where this play is supposed to develop, yet it's not there. I'm going to push it back inside, follow my running back, and pick up good yardage. The unaccounted for player is the quarterback in draw plays like this. And remember, Arkansas had a lot of success running draws against Auburn, and that's without the extra blocker that Kansas State will have.
All right, Cole. Well, we talked about last week that Auburn has some opportunities, some areas where they can make some improvements that could maybe lead to some pretty big gains for this team. When it comes to the Auburn defense looking to stop this Kansas State offense, where are those areas where they need to show the most improvement over what we've seen so far this season? Well,
I don't think, Matt, it's so much as where this team needs to improve overall. It's where do you need to improve based on the opponent that you're going to see this week. And in my opinion, rush lane integrity, we talked a lot about that, but also the run fits. That's from your linebackers and from your safeties, because you're going to have dual threats with this offense. Run pass options, you're going to have zone reads, and you're going to have a quarterback who can break down in pass protection and hurt you with his legs. Responsibility of run fits and pass rush lane integrity are going to be huge. Basically just the breakdowns of where your alignment is supposed to be on the field, and then not turning guys loose. We've seen big plays from San Jose State through the air, big plays with Arkansas through the air, and the majority have been through busted coverages. A lot of them on play action as well. If not play action, double moves or pump fakes to then go up top like we saw with San Jose State. End of the day, understand where you're supposed to be on the field, understand your responsibility, and don't turn guys loose. The back end of the defense, in my opinion, is much more critical in a game like this than the front seven. I think a lot of people look at Kansas State and they say, oh, that's a big physical football team, and they remember Colin Klein in the quarterback position running the football. In my opinion, the back end of the defense will be much more critical Thursday night for the Auburn Tigers.
All right, well, you can follow along with all of our coverage of the game on Thursday night at AL.com/Auburn football. Cole and I will be back here next week to break it all down for you in the AL.com film room.